Welcome to another reading of Lord Mayher. We're at page, sorry, let me check. Bottom of page 2947. We'll just repeat that last paragraph we read last week. Yet their separation from the beloved was only apparent. When Baba was in Satara in August 1950, this incident took place on Mehrabad Hill. Mansari was lying on her bed one night thinking of Baba. Suddenly, a cobra slithered in and crawled onto her chest. Mansari felt it and, with a sweep of her hand, brushed the snake away. Hearing it fall, she leapt up and saw the snake on the floor, hissing menacingly with its hood spread wide. She was alone in the room. Jamadar, the night watchman, was some distance away. The cobra was blocking the door, so she could not go outside and call for help. Somehow she gathered courage and killed the snake with a bamboo staff. But the episode did not end there. Cobras abide in pairs. The next night, when Mansari was praying in front of Baba's photograph, another cobra appeared. She bravely managed to kill this cobra too. But the amazing coincidence was that before all this had happened, Baba had one night come in her dream and asked her, "What would you do if a cobra came into your room?" Mansari had replied, "I would kill it." In the dream, Baba had encouraged her, "Yes, do not be afraid. Kill it. I am with you." After she killed both snakes, Baba appeared again in her dream and told her, "I am quite pleased with your courage. Now no snakes will bother you." And truly, henceforth no snake entered Mansari's room. Although far away from Baba, various lovers and disciples had different experiences of his inner guidance. After the meeting in Mahabaleshwar, Baba made preparations to start on a 1 month journey for must and poor work. He left Mahabaleshwar for Patna on Saturday, 21 October 1950, accompanied by Pendu, Gustaji, Baidul, and Erich. Meanwhile, Meramani, Meru, Goher, and Naja, for a time, remained in Mahabaleshwar, along with Nilu, Vishnu, Dawn, Kaka, Murli, and Anna 104, to whom Baba had given individual duties. Adi Sr., Papa, Baram, and Jalbai met Baba and his party at Swargate, or Swargate, in Pune, where Meherji and Nariman's cars were waiting, as instructed, to drive Baba to Bombay. During Baba's whirlwind tour, he traveled by train and bus, as well as on foot, contacting musts, sadhus, saints, needy middle-class families, and the poor in Bihar, Bengal, Orissa, Nepal, Madras, Hyderabad, and Bombay provinces. The difficult part of the trip was in finding once prosperous families who had now fallen on hard times. Baba wished to help such families who, due to adverse circumstances, had become resourceless. but who, out of shame and modesty, would not express it. They refused to beg, although they were desperately in need of help. Because of Baba's work with the musts, the poor, and such families, it was an especially rigorous journey. But there was a difference in the way the work was done compared to the methods adopted in the old life. Now, before giving the recipients his love gift, that is, money collected at October 16th meeting, Baba would wash their feet and lay his head on their feet, as Erich read out these lines. My elder brother says this money has been given to you by loving hearts to be given to the deserving and needy. The receiver should not feel it as charity or feel himself to be under any obligation whatsoever. He should consider it as a gift of love. This method was adopted for the needy families, whereas to the poor, Baba would give his gift of love without any ceremony. In the old life, Baba would work with the musts alone. In the new life, wherever they were found, he would openly contact them, either in a room, on the road, or in the market, in the presence of his companions. Also, those local folk who were with the musts at the time were not told to leave the scene. Baba had remarked, my must work as such is over. In the old life, only I, God, and the must knew what my work was. In the new life, I have now become a seeker. I place my head on their feet and, for the fulfillment of my spiritual objective, I seek their blessings. During his contacts, Baba would give each must at least 1 rupee, while Baidul, or another companion, repeated these words. May God fulfill his, in parentheses, Baba's spiritual objective. Pray for it. When a must was in a totally unconscious state, the above invocation was not repeated. But for a conscious must, after the invocation was said, Baba would wait there until the must answered. Baba would not budge even for hours if the must did not reply. He would only leave after obtaining the must's blessing. During this period, Baba would also solicit blessings from common people, thereby fulfilling to perfection his chosen role as a seeker. Scarcity of food prevailed in Bihar, Bengal, and Orissa due to floods in some parts, drought in other parts, and an earthquake. After the India-Pakistan partition, the refugee problem also exacerbated the misery in some areas. In Bihar, for example, because of floods along the Kosi River, people were suffering terribly. Many lives had been lost and property destroyed. Janaki Nandan Singh, the chairman of the Darbhanga Zilla Parishad District Board, and a co-worker, Baijnath Mishra, helped Baba greatly in his work of contacting the afflicted and homeless in the flooded areas. Accompanied by Erich, Pendu, Baidul, Gustaji, and Baijnath Mishra, who served as their guide, Baba traveled in a tonga from the Tamuria train station to the village of Madhepur, Thana, a distance of 4 miles. There he distributed love gifts of rupees 500 each to 3 needy families. With each family, Baba washed their feet and then laid his head on their feet as Erich read out the proclamation. Leaving Mahipur, Baba went next by tonga to Kachua village, where he gave 2 needy families rupees 500 each after washing their feet and placing his head thereon. From there, he traveled to Behat village, where, in the same manner, 2 families were given rupees 100 each. In Maivi village, the same amount was bestowed upon another family, and there Baba also gave several poor persons 5 rupees each. Baijnath Mishra, Baba's guide for the day, was a selfless worker and was himself a victim of the floods. Baba also gave him rupees 148 after washing his feet and bowing down to him. From Bihar, Baba traveled by train north into the Himalayas to Nepal, where he continued his work in Janakpur. While proceeding from Jainagar to Janakpur, Baba and the servant companions traveled by an open coach, resembling a freight car. There were no lights, and they had to keep kerosene lanterns lit throughout the night. At every station, the train would halt for hours. To contact the Tibetan and Nepalese saints and sadhus in Janakpur, Baba walked through rice fields in the dead of night while the companions carried lanterns. During this entire journey, they hardly slept. When they did, it was only for a few hours on the train, as they never stayed at any place after Baba's work was finished. At this frantic pace, sometimes they had a decent meal, but often they did not. Baba and the companions next traveled south to Bengal. On the way to Calcutta, they stayed at the small railway station of Kolgong. Baba contacted a must there who invited Baba and his men to spend the night with him as his guests. Baba, however, wished to proceed to Calcutta by the next train, but at the same time he did not want to upset the must. He sent several messages to the must to please allow them to leave. The must came to the train station and a crowd gathered. Thinking they were in some way disturbing their local saint, the crowd grew restless, and Erich and Baidul were pushed away. Baba and the companions boarded the train, and the must was escorted away by his followers. Since leaving Mahabaleshwar almost 11 days before, they had had only an average of an hour's sleep at night. Therefore, Baba rested for 3 or 4 days in Calcutta, contacting a few musts and one poor family who was given rupees 500. On Saturday, 4 November 1950, Chuggan joined them from Ahmednagar as previously ordered by Baba. In Kolkata, in the Dakshineshwar temple of the Sadguru Ramakrishna, Baba sat for half an hour virtually naked, wearing only his loincloth. And we have a side note here that says Baba had visited the Dakshineshwar temple in Kolkata before in 1924. After his inner work in the Dakshineshwar temple was completed, Baba donned his white kafni and walked outside the courtyard of the temple with his begging bowl in hand. This was the first time Baba begged, walking from house to house along the streets, without informing his companions in advance. The companions were dressed in regular coats, pants, shoes, and hats. As instructed by Baba, at the same time, Pendu was handing money to the poor along the street as Baba walked ahead, seeking bhiksha with his begging bowl in hand. Because of this apparent incongruity, Baba had a difficult time in receiving any bhiksha. Every house refused his request for alms. At last, a humble Bengali family served him fresh hot food in bhiksha. When Baba reached the doorstep, the rice and vegetables were still cooking. A daughter of the family kindly asked Baba to wait for a little while. Baba permitted her 5 minutes. The family cooked so hurriedly that within that time they were able to serve Baba rice and spinach. Thus the family was blessed. Although Pendu was giving money to the poor in front of their house, they remained unaffected. Without uttering a word, they offered bhiksha to Baba, a total stranger. Their spontaneous offering of love was a touching sight. Before starting from Mahabaleshwar, Baba had informed his companions, "I intend to give love gifts to the really poor. This work will be more difficult than even the must work. We will have to travel long distances so that I can give large amounts to the truly poor and needy." To fulfill his purpose, Baba traveled to Katuk in Orissa with Erich, Pendu, Baidul, Gustaji, and Chuggan. There in Kutuch, one destitute family was found, and Baba washed their feet and gave rupees 500 to them. Traveling further south, Baba and his companions arrived in Madras, where a thorough search was made to locate more families. 3 destitute families were found, and Baba washed their feet and gave rupees 500 to each family. On one occasion, Baba was sitting at a place in Madras when he suddenly gestured that he felt thirsty. He sent Erich to buy coconut water. While doing so, Erich overheard some people discussing an unfortunate family. Erich asked a panwala if he knew of any needy families in the area. The pawn seller informed him. In Gudurr, there is a family who was once quite well-to-do, but they are now in such a miserable condition they cannot even afford food and clothing. The man used to be a wealthy merchant and was having a palatial bungalow constructed. Suddenly his business plummeted, and the building contractor, taking advantage of his situation, began looting him. The result was the contractor himself became the owner of the building, and the family now occupies a tiny hut where they live in squalor. Erich repeated the story to Baba, and Baba became anxious to proceed immediately to Gudurr. 2 hours later, they caught the first train there. When they arrived, Erich went ahead from the station to find the family. He came to a large house and knocked on the door. A well-dressed man appeared, and Erich asked for the man whose name he had taken from the shopkeeper. "I am that man," the head of the household replied. This surprised Erich, and he thought the search had been in vain. Still he said, "I have heard that the former owner of this house was once very wealthy, but is now a pauper. My elder brother has come to render him some help." The owner did not reply, but his young son, who had been standing behind him, said that the man he wanted resided in a hut in a nearby alley. The man Erich had been talking with was the person who had taken over the house from its original owner. Surprisingly, their names were almost the same. The boy showed Erich to the other man's hut. It was Diwali, the colorful festival of lights. But outside the hut, not even one light burned. Erich tapped on the door of the hovel, and a young girl in a tattered sari cautiously opened it. It was dark inside. Only a tiny light flickered in front of a glass case housing a tall idol of Lord Krishna, which, even in his destitution, the man had saved. The poor man was sick and lay on a cot in the corner. His wife was seated on another cot in the one-room shack. The girl had been praying to Krishna. Erich inquired of the girl about the man, and she quietly answered, "He is my father, but he is ill. My mother, too, is indisposed. Why have you come here?" "I came to know about your father's plight, and my elder brother has come to help him," Erich explained. The girl said, "We have nothing with which to repay a loan." "This is not a loan," Erich quickly explained. "My elder brother wants to give a gift of love, and if your father accepts it, he will oblige us." The girl burst into tears. She turned to the statue of Krishna and uttered, "My Krishna, my beloved Krishna, how merciful you are. I have only just prayed to you, and you have answered so soon. You are merciful, my Lord, most merciful." At this, Erich's heart too was full, and tears came to his eyes. Erich told the girl, "My elder brother always first washes the feet of the receiver and then lays his forehead on them. Warm some water, Meanwhile, I will bring him from the train station. Erich went back to the station and, accompanied by Baba and Pendu, led them to the hut. Baba washed and put his head on the man's feet, handing him rupees 500. The girl was overcome and wept. My Krishna, she continued to cry, my merciful Krishna. Age too was touched. Krishna was present in physical form, but the Lord did not linger. Finishing his work, Baba immediately departed by Tonga. After some distance, it was discovered that Baba's coat had been left behind in the hut. But Baba indicated to Erich and Pendu, forget about it. Let my coat stay with them. I am extremely happy with the work that has been done. From Gudur, Baba and the men entrained for Hyderabad, where they stayed for 9 days. In an Idgah, that's a Muslim place of worship, Baba sat in seclusion for half an hour one day. There, while the men stood guard, Baba again took off his clothes and sat naked, wearing only a loincloth. In this manner, Baba's Langoti life continued. In Hyderabad, 11 destitute families were found in need of Baba's love gift. Baba gave rupees 500 to 3 Muslim families and the same amount to 5 Hindu families. 3 other families received lesser sums from Baba. One interesting incident of these contacts was when they heard of a former prosperous Nawab, that's a Muslim prince, who had fallen victim to a wretched plight. Previously, he had been so rich that when he traveled, a special saloon for him was attached to the train. And at the entranceway of his splendid home, elephants were kept chained. Yet his sudden misfortune had reduced him to a pitiful state, selling beedies and matches on the street. And he had no place where he could call home. Erich began a search to locate this former prince in the Mud Fort locality of Hyderabad. The man was well known, but since he was without a place of residence, he could not easily be found. Erich at last approached the proprietor of a small shop, who said, "He is here, lying sick on the veranda." Erich went to him. He was lying on a broken-down cot, which someone had given him. Nearby were a few matchboxes and beedies, piled on top of an empty wooden crate. The extent of his worldly possessions. His wife had gone to a free municipal dispensary to bring medicine. Erich left at once and brought Baba, Pendu, and Baidul. Erich gently told the man, "My elder brother has come to help you. He will give you a good sum as a gift of love, and we will be grateful if you accept it." Suspicious, the man asked, "From where have you come, and why do you wish to help me? With what motive?" "Please do not ask such things," said Erich. "Accept the gift as God's mercy That is all we ask." After much persuasion, the man agreed. Baba was in a hurry to finish everything, but Erich said, "Baba, let's wait till his wife comes. There are many people about, and someone might steal the money." Baba replied, "Yes, money is such a thing that people in his condition cannot afford to be careless with it." Baba approached the man to wash his feet. The sick man wanted to get off the cot and stand up. Although he was told not to do so, he would not hear of it. Baba washed and placed his forehead on his feet and gave him rupees 500 as his love gift. Seeing the stack of notes, the man was so overcome he fainted. Seeing the man fall, the people who were watching began verbally abusing Baba and the party. They charged that because of the presence of Baba and his men, the man had become more ill and died. A ruckus was raised as a crowd gathered around them. Baba Pendu and Erich lifted the man and laid him back on the cot, and Baba began fanning him. "Inform the police immediately," the crowd demanded. "These are dacoits. They have poisoned the poor Nawab. Don't let them escape." Erich tried to pacify them, but to no avail. At this point, the wife returned with the medicine. Seeing her husband unconscious, she started weeping and wailing. Loudly she shrieked, "I have been deprived of everything in this world. Only my husband was left with me, and now you have snatched him away." Erich tried to calm her. "He will come round soon. He's not dead. Do not be distraught. He has been given a large sum of money. See that it is kept safe and spent on his treatment." The man slowly opened his eyes and tears flowed. "Why do you abuse these good people?" he asked his wife. "These men are the angels of God. Do you know what they've done?" The woman started offering her thanks for the timely help. Erich told her, "It is God's grace. Thank him." Baba had quickly slipped out the door so suddenly, some still thought he was, in fact, guilty of a crime. Tremendous efforts were involved in seeking out such families. Inquiries were made on all sides. To contact them and help them was difficult. But the God-man's love is so great for those who really suffer, and he himself underwent much hardship to find and help them. Those who received monetary help were informed that what was given to them was not given as charity. It was a gift to them, so they could rehabilitate themselves and regain their material stability. In accordance with the fulfillment of the objectives of the new life, Meher Baba's name was not disclosed to anyone, so that the recipients could not make obeisance to him. After experiencing severe privations during doing this work, Baba and his men arrived in Bombay on 25 November 1950. They had literally traversed the entire country, traveling in all directions to Bihar and Nepal in the north, Kolkata in the east, Hyderabad and Madras in the south, and Bombay in the west. Thus, working day and night for a month, 33 families were helped. 250 poor persons were given money, 119 musts, 23 saints, and 21 sadhus were contacted. At every town or village, Baba and his companions got off the conveyance in which they traveled, either train or bus, to contact the poor, the musts, and saints. To reach poor families in Madhupur, Baba even traveled by Tonga and returned in an ox cart. Because of the high floodwaters, no other means of travel was possible. The hardships and travails undergone in contacting the musts cannot be imagined. The musts were scattered in places that were most difficult to reach, and Baba preferred to contact them when there were no crowds near them. So contacts were mostly made at night, and navigating the lanes and alleys in strange villages proved very difficult. To journey constantly, day and night, searching for musts in strange places without rest would break the strongest and healthiest of men. But Baba's sweet, pleasing smile was a source of enthusiasm and inspiration to his companions. Baba would not allow them to become discouraged or disappointed, and would keep them cheerful by his humor, despite the privations they underwent day and night. Above all, it was the pouring out of his love wherever he went that sustained his companions and enabled them to keep pace with him. Adi Sr. and Ramju were called to Bombay and were permitted to witness Baba's must and poor work in the city. Baba slept at Ashiana in Nariman's bedroom, and Adi Sr. and Erich stayed with him. Pendu, Gustaji, Baidul, and Chuggan checked in to a hotel. Naja, with the help of the Dadachanjis, prepared their food at Nauroji's, which Mayurji brought twice a day to Ashiana. Baba did not meet anyone in Bombay except Nariman and Mayurji, not even Rano, Kitty, Katie, Khorshid, or Sunamasi, who were living there according to his orders. On Sunday, 26 November 1950, four of Baba's old life closest disciples, who had informed Baba of their financial difficulties in Mahabaleshwar, were called to Bombay. They were Baba's brother Bairam, Ramju's brother-in-law Abdullah Jafar of Nasik, Datu Mehendarge, Adi Sr.'s office assistant, and Rustum Dinyar of Deolali. At Ashiana, Baba explained to them, "While I was doing my work with the poor during my travels, I remembered you also, and so I have called you here today to extend the same service to you." Baba urged the four men to allow him to carry out the procedure freely and completely, without any hesitation on their part. "This is neither charity nor a favor done by me," Baba explained through Erich. "The money also is not mine. It is part of the amount given to me by loving hearts, to be used for helping the needy. I consider you to be in need of help, and I give this without any obligation upon you of any kind. Marilyn, you ready to read?
Uh,
Unmute first.
just wish you could make, I have to get my other glasses, and you said there's no way to enlarge that?
That's right, because it's a web page.
Okay. Baba then washed and placed his head on their feet. Afterwards, he handed 1,000 rupees to each, and the four recipients were sent back to their respective places. Just a moment. See if I could make this a little bit easier. Sorry. Okay. Where am I, Baba? Baba detailed to Merji, Naraman, Adi, and Ramju the hardships and privileges undergone during his recent travels at 10 a.m. Baba went with all of his companions to a cricket series being played in Brabourne Stadium. Monday, 27 November was spent in must work in Bombay and surrounding areas. Baba contacted 33 musts in Bombay. While Baba kept his head on each must's feet, someone from among the companions would request the must to give his blessing. Ramju accompanied Baba for the first 3 days in Bombay and, as instructed, requested the following blessing from the musts. Please pray that his spiritual work is carried out successfully. Several musts would reply, God willing, it will be completed. Some merely nodded their heads, not saying a word. One man boldly asked, how can I interfere in God's will and the work of the Sadgurus? When he was assured that he was not being sought to interfere, but only to give his blessing, the must patted Baba firmly on the back a few times and said, it will be so, it will be so. One must demanded exactly 3 rupees and 4 annas before he would say anything one way or the other. But when Baba placed the amount in his hand, 1 anna coin slipped from his fingers and rolled under a wooden box. The must was offended and refused to give the blessing sought unless the coin was found and given to him. Halwala Baba was a Jalali must who would not allow anyone to approach him. Baba went to him twice. When Baba visited him the second time late at night, the must said, it is likely he is God. It is likely he is Mohammed. But why does he not leave me alone? Baba quietly touched his feet and left without asking for his blessing. He's a fine fellow, Baba repeated more than once. After Baba was disturbed by the noise of Ashiana, he began sleeping in an upstairs room at Merji's, taking a break during the day at Nariman's. The rest of the time was spent hunting for musts, but there was noise at Merji's also. So after 2 nights, Baba returned to Ashiana, where he slept this time in the drawing room. Back to the top. Adi returned to Ahmednagar on 3 December, and Padri was summoned on the 4th for instructions. Footnote: from 11 November 1950, Padri began staying in a small room at the back of Khusru quarters, where Adi Sr., Gulmai, Dali, and Mehru, and Savak Damanya were living. From 30 November 1950, Baba began attending the Brabourne Stadium cricket series daily after his must work was over. But a week later, on the morning of December 5th, 1950, Baba was not in a good mood and canceled going that day. "I will rest all day," he stated, then added, "and we will not be going to any more matches either." Chagan has been on watch and reported that Baba had been in a foul temper at night. At lunchtime, all were eager to at least know the source of the match, but Baba's mood precluded turning on the radio. Baba himself wondered how the match was going and asked the radio to be turned on. The first thing they heard was the news of the death of the six-plain saint Aurobindo Ghosh the previous night at 1:30 a.m. Only then did everyone grasp the reason for Baba's mood. In the past, Baba had once mentioned that Aurobindo Ghosh was a yogi who had advanced himself by his own efforts to the sixth plane and became a saint. Baba now called for Aurobindo's photograph and placed it before him as he listened to accounts of his life on the radio. Later, he explained to Adi Sr. what he had been doing. "I was pushing Aurobindo from the 6th to the 7th plane." Having finished his must work in Bombay, Baba and his companions returned to Mahabaleshwar on Wednesday, 6 December 1950, after an absence of 45 days. They drove there in 2 cars. Chagan, Padri, and Adi Jr., who had come to Bombay briefly, got down in Pune and returned to Ahmednagar from there. Settled in Mahabaleshwar, Baba expressed a wish to remain in seclusion for 100 days. Padri was called to Mahabaleshwar, where he was given instructions to construct a small straw hut for this purpose. Dr. Ghani and Gadagar had both done meritorious work for Baba in Pune. They, along with Kak Saheb, would discourse about Baba and their days spent with him. By drawing a number of persons to Baba, they were able to form a group referred to collectively as the Dr. Ghani group, or under Gadagar's musical direction as the New Bhajan Mandali. The Toddy family was especially drawn to Baba, and bhajan singing was held weekly at their residence. Madhusudan, a superb singer, was a regular member and had started composing and singing bhajans about Baba. Subhadra Bundelu was also a fine singer, and the Toddy family would join them in accompaniment. Three brothers, Laxmakant, Kishan, and Narendra Toddy. Their parents and others, such as Bapu Saheb Shind, Lakshman Campbell, Rangol, Badi, Narayan, and Krishna Bundelu, and a young man, Pratap Iyer, were part of the Bhajan group. The group was directed by Gadagar and his wife Gunatai and their children. Digambar and Nalini also sang. The Pune Bhajan group hoped to sing bhajans before Baba one day, just as Rustam Kaka and his wife Sila Kaku of Ahmednagar used to sing on special occasions in Mehrabad and Merazad. On his return, excuse me, let me see. On his return to Mahabaleshwar, Baba asked for a photograph of each member of the Pune Bhajan group, pointing to Madhusudan's and Narendra Tade's picture. Baba remarked, "I will keep these two with me for some days." Baba invited the entire Pune Bhajan group to Mahabaleshwar to perform on Mera's birthday that year. A week before this program, Kak Saheb handed Tade a song he had written saying, "If you get a chance, the group might sing this song before Baba." A few days later, on 23 December 1950, Kak Saheb passed away in Pune at the age of 64. Kak Saheb had been with Baba since the early days of Manzil-e-Mim, where he and Asar Saheb had written Upasni Maharaj's biography in Urdu. Kak had stayed with Baba for long periods in Toka, Bangalore, and Mehrabad. Although because of his age, he had not been able to join Baba on the new life, he held fast to him until the last. From Mehrabad, he had gone to live with his family in Pune. When Ghani read the song Kaksab had written, he gave the group a song to sing before Baba. The Pune group attended Kak's funeral and then left for Mahabaleshwar the next day, the 24th. They met Baba that evening, and each in the group sang individually for him in a small room. Mehra's birthday was celebrated in Mahabaleshwar on Christmas Day, Wednesday, 25 December 1950. Kitty and Rano were also invited to attend this program and thus spent their Christmas holiday with Baba. Madhusudan and members of the Bhajan Mandali sang devotional songs that day. And then the song of the new life was sung by Adi Sr. On hearing the latter, Baba commented, "To live up to this new life song is the success I am seeking in the role of being the humblest and lowest of all beings, full of weaknesses and defects, shortcomings. Whatever you sing now will be addressed to the old life, Mayor Baba, and not to me, as I can't accept it in this new life, but you may sing bhajans with all your heart, full of love and faith. Baba. Baba continued to listen to bhajans and ghazals for some time, and Padri too. Padri took many photographs of Baba's expressions while listening to the music. The women companions were listening behind a curtain in another room. Baba was in such a good mood, he even accompanied the group by playing the dholak drum and fine cymbals. Gadikar wanted to tell Baba about Kak Saheb's recent death, but because of the new life and restrictions against mentioning any such old life topic, he could not do so. But he hit upon a stratagem by telling Madhusudan to sing the particular ghazal to Baba that Kak had written before he passed away. Madhusudan and the group continued to sing, and at one point sang the particular ghazal of Kak Saheb that Gadikar had requested. Hearing just 2 lines, Baba stopped Madhusudan and became quiet for some moments. He looked as if he were somewhere else, far away, as Baba sat absolutely still with a pensive expression. Everything in the world seemed to have stopped for the moment. After a few moments, Baba rubbed his face and eyes and gestured. He, meaning Kak, has come to me. Although Baba had not mentioned Kak Saheb by name, the Pune group knew whom he meant. Madhusudan and the group resumed their singing and sang the entire ghazal. Baba seemed to be in a serious mood as he listened. Who has composed this ghazal? Baba asked. Gadika replied, Kak Saheb. When did he write it? Just a few days before he died, Gadika replied solemnly. This was the news he wished to convey to Baba. Madhusudan and the group then sang the ghazal Ghani had composed. Ghani's ghazal was of a complaining tone, but in a humorous vein. No sooner were 2 lines sung than Baba's mood changed to one of joviality. Baba laughed and gestured Mota Doka, meaning big head, one of Baba's names for Ghani. Footnote. Mota Doka had a double meaning. It not only referred to Ghani's disproportionately large head, but also to his sharp intellect. Other nicknames Baba used for Ghani were Ganpali, god of wit and wisdom, and Penja, Krishna's favorite disciple. Ghani, in turn, called Baba Sab Rangsha, having all colors, and Hirani, troublemaker, a play on words on the word Iranji. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Okay, I see the footnote. Baba had earlier indicated his desire to keep Madhusudan and Narendra with him for a few days. But on that day, he chose Pratap Iyer, 15. Baba instructed him to return to Mahabaleshwar in a week after obtaining permission from his school principal, even though school was out for Christmas holidays. The Pune group left for their homes the same day. Mayor's birthday had given them their first opportunity. Excuse me, but you went a little bit. Oh, you moved it. Mayor's birthday had given them their first opportunity to sing before Baba. While leaving, Gadikar was ecstatic. Pratap describes Gadikar was a high government officer, but he was so happy that one of the members of his Pune group was going to stay with Baba. He was literally dancing on the road like a child. That was his happiness. Mahabaleshwar. 25 December 1950, and there's Baba with a drum, a tabla. Beautiful picture. The companions were taken aback at the news of Kak Saheb's demise, but since even the casual mention of any old life brother who had lived his life in Baba's love was forbidden, each could only silently recollect incidents of the past. For example, once when Baba was in seclusion in Lower Mehrabad, Pendu and Sidhu were on night watch near him. Baba had a bad cold. He was coughing up a lot of phlegm and wheezing. Still, he would bathe at 5 a.m. daily, and Pendu and Sidhu would heat his bath water and wash his clothes. One morning after his bath, Baba directed Sidhu to bring chapatis and cream and added, "Shout loudly for Cock the Virly devil, Don the white devil, and Nilu the black devil. Call those devils here." Accordingly, Sidhu yelled, "Is that Virile devil Cock present? Where is Don the white devil? Is Nilu the black devil here?" The three men came immediately, and Baba laughed and served them chapatis and cream. Cock remarked poetically, "Thank you, Baba, for bestowing on me the title of Vir Devil. Today it has won me wine."
That word is virile. It
Oh,
it
I can't say
it
it.
means like manly, potent, and very
Oh,
potent.
today it has won me wine. During another period, Coxsaheb became fond of going to the racetrack in Pune and betting on horses. He informed Baba and told him, "By your grace, at least once in my life, let me win." Thereafter, Baba began to take interest in the daily horse races and even backed Cock financially and encouraged him to bet and bet heavily. Baba even had a written agreement executed between Cock and himself, stating that if Cock won, half of his winnings would go to Baba. Each day, Baba and Cock would discuss upcoming races. Baba remarked to the men Mandali, "It would be better if Cock wins big and fills our pockets. We both need the money." But as the days went by, the more interest Baba took in the races, the more disgusted Cock became with the whole affair, losing a lot of money. Cock's aversion became so strong that he had no desire left to bet. "Don't quit now," Baba urged him. You are bound to win soon. I need the money. Don't fail me. So Cock bet everything he had left, but again lost. Because of his newly acquired dislike for gambling, he did not feel much over the loss of the money and swore never to bet again. Okay. Anybody else want to read? Maybe.
I don't think they're available, but if you're go on if you're not tired. It's
Oh,
fine
okay.
because
Let's.
Rolf's at his steering wheel and Mayor Karan's on duty at his job.
Okay. All right then. And Rosa, all right. Let's see. I just wish I know we used to enlarge this print. I know we used to, but
Oh,
we'll
hmm.
discuss it later. Um,
Are you
Bob,
on a tablet
Rosa
or
likes
are you on a tablet?
Rosa likes to read.
excuse me.
He said Rosa likes to read, but I don't know about that.
Rosa.
Let's see. Um, Rosa, unmute if you wish to read, but I understand that you usually don't want to read because of your eyes.
No, this is really um I'll
Yeah,
continue
yeah.
to give
Sorry,
you
Marilyn. Did you say you're on a laptop or a tablet?
no my laptop.
Ah, yeah. You can't enlarge it with your fingers like you can if you're on a
No, that's
tablet or phone. Yeah. Okay. Well,
oh,
do your best. Use your strong reading glasses.
oh, Baba reassured him, never mind if you lost, but again, bet again, I'll stake you. But Pop replied, I will never bet again in my life. This loss is my gain. Now I only want to be the dust under your feet. Oh, the serving companions also remembered Cox's poetry called Shane.
Might
Shahane.
be that word might be shairi, shairi, S
Oh, it
H
looks
A
like a
I R
hand.
I. Yeah.
Okay. And you'll have to excuse me. And how effectively he had replied to Gani's ghazal, Jeremiad to Saki. The men remembered many good times with Coxahead, but they could not talk about them. The new life was a lesson in detachment from the world, because only with complete detachment can one truly love. As instructed, Pratap Ayer returned to Malabaleshwar after a week. Baba was upstairs when he arrived and sent some of his own food for the boy with Vishnu. Pratap ate and was then summoned. Baba had just taken a bath, his hair was untied, and as he stood, oh, wait, his hair was untied as he stood on the landing. Pratap recalled. Baba was standing with his hair flowing to his shoulders, with rays of sunlight falling on his face. Baba watched me as I approached the veranda. He was looking at me with so much compassion. I have never forgotten it. He looked radiant, as if light was coming out of his eyes. I
Marilyn, thank you.
I want to
Uh,
just finish the last
oh,
sentence.
yeah, do. Yeah.
I never saw that look again. Okay.
Yeah, I paused you just because Rosa appeared, and she may be able to read. Are you able to read, Rosa? Unmute first.
Hi, Rosa.
Hi, no, dear, I can't read. My vision is poor.
But thank you for thinking of me. I used to love to read and would want to participate, but now I participate as an appreciator.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Yeah. Have you tried like super strong reading glasses,
Yeah,
or do they not help?
not enough, I'm
Not
afraid.
enough. Okay. Well, let's see. It's a good time to stop because the next program will be starting in 3 minutes. Uh,
Okay, thank
uh,
you.
so uh, we're stopping almost at the bottom of let's see.
Where it says, I never saw that look again.
Yeah, 29 page 2962, almost at the bottom. Uh,
In the
for,
middle,
for,
really.
yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'll stop the share and stop the recording.
That was fun.